Whoa! Hold on, homie. Stop!
Feels good to be a gangster.
Hello, all you string picking guys and gals out there. Welcome back to part 5792 of the Ktaxon build. We have, well, actually my wife, I've got to give her credit. I said, I name all my guitars. I don't know what to name this one. And she said, how about Trouble? Because that's what you have said ever since you got this thing. So, Trouble has been branded. I don't know if you can see that. I've got it to where it's like this, but we branded it Trouble. I don't know if you can see that clearly or not. But, so yeah, we branded it Trouble. And on further research, a guy has a YouTube channel that steps in on some of the lives, like over at Dave at Six String Stinger the other day was talking about these cheaper guitars during his live stream. And I said, yeah, I am doing a Ktaxon build kit right now. That's like my thing is cheapest guitar on Amazon, cheapest guitar kit. I'm going to try it, see if we can make it work, make it not work, do whatever. And he brought up the fact that wasn't Ktaxon like Glarry. Glarry is one of those brands that I kind of steered away from because there's not many good reviews. But once I got to thinking about it, after C.D. Nelson said that, the body style, there was a Glarry body style that looked almost identical to this body style. And I kind of wanted it, but I watched a couple of reviews on the Glarry. It had Glarry on the headstock, which this one doesn't. And I kind of wanted it, but this dude was like, you know, save your money. You don't want to, you know, all this other stuff. So, but we're going forward with it. I think we've made some good progress. If I can just keep from getting shot for insulting it on these videos, which he narrowly missed me earlier. And I had to talk him down off camera so he wouldn't get mad and fire again. So there's that. But anyway, today is part 5. Today we are going to finish up with the bridge. We're going to solder the ground wire in to the shielding that we done, and we're going to finish up the bridge on the guitar. Generally, at this point, I would go ahead and string it up afterwards, but I have found a couple of unlevel frets that I need to address, especially I think right around the 23rd fret was a little bit high, and I'm not sure about the other ones, but I'm going to string it up anyway with the strings that come with it. And so in this video, if we have time and it doesn't go over to like a half hour, you know, we're going to string it up, we're going to demo it, we're going to see where the problem lies. And then if it's an easy fix, we're going to take those strings off and put some, fix the issues with the fretboard. I've got that thing flat as flat can be right now, but I'm sure it's going to get a little bit of relief in it once we put a little bit of pressure on, you know, the strings on there. For those of you that don't know, strings on a guitar generally generate like between 150 to 200 pounds of force, I think, and will sometimes cause your relief in your neck, even though it is flat. So we will adjust the frets, and we'll get all that straightened out. And then we'll adjust, once we get that straightened out, we'll adjust the truss rod, get her as playable as possible. And that may even be next video, not sure. But this video, we're going to take care of the bridge. We're going to take care of that install, and we are going to solder the ground wires to the copper shielding and see at least how it sounds once we get the strings on it and get her hooked up. So stick around. It's a ride. I'm sorry, sometimes we veer off the road, sometimes our guitars pull guns on us. I don't know, but yeah, stick around. Let's really make something of this little journey here and see what we can get done with this Ktaxon / Glarry guitar. Okay guys, here we are back on the bench. Happy, joy. One of the issues I wanted to take care of was this claw that goes into the back. And I mean, maybe some of you can help me understand. I really don't get it. But I don't understand why you would weld a ground wire to one of the claws when you've got this whole area back here. Now, I said weld, I mean solder. This whole area back here that you could solder it to and then run it off of there. So we're going to heat this solder up, take that off of there, be done with that, and run a new wire, probably from right in here over, or maybe the bottom side. I don't know yet. More than likely it's going to be somewhere that's easily accessible, just in case. Also, I also wanted to, I said I wasn't going to do this cavity, and I'm still not going to do this cavity. But what I am going to do is I am going to run a piece of copper right in here, and we are going to solder to that piece of copper a little bit of wire, because that's where our grounding is going to come in at, and pray to God that there's not a ground loop. I don't think, by looking at the pots / potentiometers, I don't think that there will be a ground loop, but just in case, we are going to plug it in and see if we get that noise from it. So let me go ahead and take care of a bit of copper right through here so we can possibly run a wire off of this to the shielding, and then we're going to solder that in as well. You know, someday somebody will probably wind up with this guitar, either by means of selling, trading, whatever, giveaway, whatever. And they're going to open this thing up and they're going to be like, holy crap, what happened in here? And I'm going to say, you know what? I have no idea. I've never seen that before. No, I'm just kidding. The best thing to do is to make sure that the guitar is going to sound good. And that is the absolute best thing to do, because we want this guitar to sound as decent as possible, which now, doing research and figuring out that Ktaxon was like part of Glarry, might be a problem. This thing may never sound good at all. Who knows? But it can. I mean, you know, and that's the thing. It probably can. Once you get everything the way it may take different pickups, different potentiometers, you know, may take burning this one and buying a whole new guitar. Who knows? You know, but you got to stay optimistic. Okay, so instead, I'm going to try a little something. I have the copper foil tape run back here to the screw holes. And once I drive the screw holes through that copper tape, there'll be contact there to ground this out. So what I am going to do is just remove this wire. I don't know why. Maybe I just don't understand it. I don't know why somebody would do that. It's kind of defeats the purpose just a little bit.
Hey guys, sped this section up. Didn't realize it took as long as it did just to solder in wire and install the tremolo. But there's a million videos out there on YouTube that show how this is done. So I feel like that it's seen 100 times before. So for time's sake, we just sped it up a little bit and to get through this whole section here and move on with the rest of the video.
Okay, got that in there. Flip it over to the back. Let's put our springs in. And in order to do that, we need this. And I'm going to do what I usually do. See if that might help out any. Because what I usually do is start from the 3 in the center. I'm going to tell you something. I made the comment back in part 1, I think, that the springs were probably going to be cheesy and they were going to be just unbelievable to manage, and that they're not going to hold tuning stability, so on and so forth. These springs are tough as a pine knot. I'm just going to tell you. I mean, it's unbelievable how stout they are. Usually I don't run into them stout like that on cheap guitars. I have been known to look for replacements whenever, because some of those springs, you can just flop them around like a slinky and everything. So probably, and you'll get a lot of noise coming from your springs as well. And it's a strong possibility that that may happen with these, but just know that you can get like some kind of foam. Just cut some foam, put them in between the springs, underneath them, something like that. That usually dampens the spring noise. I have known of people putting them on the underside of this plastic cover that goes onto this. And who knows, we may end up having to do that. But for now, it's not bad. You know what? I kind of wish this was all black hardware, but I guess we got to do what we got to do. Let's turn everything down and let's plug this bad boy up. And you know what? It would probably be better if, no, that's normal amp noise. Volume up there. Volume up there. No, I'm not getting any sound whatsoever. Imagine that. Now, I'm wondering if it is a ground loop.
Okay guys, we're speeding through this section here too. At this point I think I pretty much decided that I'm just going to put the strings, the tuners, everything on it, and then go back to the no sound problem that occurred in the last clip, which is pretty interesting. I think that you'll find it kind of helpful. And it turns out that the problem was a mistake that anyone can easily make, a very easy mistake, especially when you're doing shielding. But we'll get to that in just a second. Here you see me putting on the tuners. I had to go, I spent probably 30 minutes looking for a 10mm socket. Now I'm going to tell you something. All the myths about 10mm sockets are totally and 100% true. Don't let nobody lie to you. I don't care if you got 100 of them. When you need one, it's going to take you forever to find it. They sprout legs, get up, and just walk away. So right here, I'm putting the strings on. Basically, what I wanted to check out, I was so frustrated with the no sound issue that I just wanted to put the strings on it, because really at this point, I had done decided, you know what, if this thing plays like crap, I'm just gonna toss out this project, and the last video would be me throwing it into my fire pit. I usually have a good head on my shoulders when it comes to figuring out problems, especially with electronics and stuff like that, with guitars and stuff like that. But at this point, I was just trying to cool my nerves, just tuning up the guitar, getting the tremolo set to where it would hold tune. I think I've already mentioned that I did not intonate it in this video. That is going to be probably done between this video and next, but I will walk you through it at the finale, the pros and cons part 6 video, so you can see what is actually being done to intonate a guitar. But yeah, so that's pretty much about it. I'm just going through, retuning, making sure everything is leveling out, setting up, and trying to get this thing to do what it's supposed to be doing. But I still didn't have any sound, and I only found like 2 frets that were raised, and I think maybe one of them I think was the 22nd fret, and the other one was the 11th. So I don't know, maybe a good smack with a rubber mallet will fix that. Hopefully it does. I really don't want to have to file them things down and recrown them if it's just something like that. But here you see me, I'm flipping over the guitar, I'm getting back to the sound issue. I'm making sure that the copper shielding isn't touching any naked ground wire or anything like that. So I'm going to take the cover off because I've got it hooked up, and I keep strumming the strings and I'm getting no sound, and it is very, very frustrating. So that's the whole reason why I sped this section up, so you guys wouldn't have to live through me grumbling and growling and all this stuff. But it does have a good outcome. I do find the problem, and it is really weird that I missed that. But yeah, I think you'll find it interesting, and it's something that can happen to any one of us.
Ooh, boy, I was sweating that one. No sound. First thing I thought was, I have gone through this entire. I was about ready to take it outside with a gallon of gas and a book of matches. But I found the problem while off camera, and I went through and I thought maybe this thing does have a ground loop. So I disconnected and pretty much done away with the copper that touched. This little tab right here connects to the back plate is going to connect to this, and then connects through. There's continuity, today's word, continuity, throughout all of the copper shielding. So I disconnected this copper that went to this ground, disconnected it right there, still no sound. So at that point, I was thinking, man, I'm just about to lose it, and just call it quits. You know, I done made up my mind that I was just going to eventually replace all the electronics and make a better one out of this. But I wanted to put it together as a budget-friendly guitar. And so, well, I've lost a screw. What did I do with that screw? It's probably right here. So I ended up, I done just about made my mind up, and I thought, you know what? I looked at all the leads. Nothing is touching, no hot side is touching this copper shielding anywhere. I had this off, looked in there, everything looked okay, and then I saw this. And now we have sound. Some of the copper shielding, when I done over this hole that goes out to this input jack, when I done over that hole, I just poked that hole out rather than peeling off that. I just poked that hole out, and when I poked that hole out, I pushed the copper shielding down inside of it. Well, guess what happens when you do that? The hot side of your output jack is touching copper shielding and grounding out. So when I took the jack out, immediately got sound. So what a relief. I was kind of sweating that for a little bit, and I kind of wish I took you guys along with the journey, but this video would, because I looked at that for probably a good 15 minutes before I figured this out. So yeah, kind of feeling like a dummy. But she's put together. Haven't adjusted. Let me turn the volume up. Haven't adjusted the tremolo. Not thinking I'm going to have to. Let's see just how far see how tough this thing is going to be. I'm going to have to end up painting that tremolo arm, that little thing right there, doing that purple kind of matches down here. Okay, let's retune. The strings have had time to stretch. If any of you have never done this with a tremolo, a floating tremolo is like the world's worst. I miss having a floating tremolo. I do. Some of the tricks you can do with those things are amazing. But I don't miss the hassle. Okay, here's the test. Huh. Well, brought the E out. Then again, this has not been intonated. We're going to do that off screen, but we do have sound. Well, guys, for the most part, it's put together. Still lacks some intonation. Got a couple of frets right in here, and here. That's going to have to be knocked down. Neck is straight as an arrow. Still have to adjust the height though on the saddles and plus intonation. But as you heard, it has sound. This has been an adventure, I will tell you that. Old Trouble just put it to me. I'll tell you that. But yeah, still got to adjust pickup height, all that good stuff. But for the most part, I kind of picked around, distortion stuff off camera just to see what it sounded like. I'm not going to play it for you guys yet. I'm going to wait until I get everything completely set up, string height adjusted, and all that. It's got decent, a little high for me on the action right now. It's perfect at the nut. That's what was scaring me more than anything, because I wasn't sure if that was going to be done right. But it is perfect at the nut. You barely have to even mash on it to get, it's perfect for me anyway. Next video, I'm gonna come back, maybe do a little demo, talk pros and cons about this in part number 6 of the Ktaxon Nightmare. But I do think that it turned out good. I think that Old Trouble turned out decent. Clear coat could have been a bit better, but that is the nightmare of this guitar. Will I ever do this again? No. If you see a guitar kit that's $59, just know for $59 you're not getting a whole lot. But you can make it yours, and I will do the same with this. I love how lightweight it is. We're going to do a weigh-in on the next video. But yeah, this thing is for $59. It's kind of hard to beat. If you're a beginner and you're wanting one of these, buy one already put together. Don't get one like this that comes in pieces, because you'll pull your hair out. I'm telling you. So anyway, guys, thanks for stopping in for part number 5,900 or 792 of the Ktaxon build. We got one more video that'll be the finale of that guitar, and then you guys can weigh in on what you thought about it in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Thank you so much. Seen one of my videos the other day hit over 500, and that was a full-length video, and it was the first video of this Ktaxon build, so I really do appreciate the views on that. If you get a minute, do hit the subscribe button. I'm always kind of doing crazy stuff, a little bit of humor here and there, and some reviews, some just kind of stuff like that. So with that, you guys have been great, but the door is closing, so you have to leave.
Fy skal ikke bli gangster.